And breaking inputs that are just coming in, Iran's Supreme Leader Mujtaba Khamenei has instructed all military units to stop firing. The instruction that's been announced via a statement readout on state-run news channel, which came about 2 hours after US President Donald Trump announced a ceasefire deal. The statement said, and I quote, "This is not the end of the war, but all military branches should follow the Supreme Leader's order and cease their fire." Iran notably has agreed to a 2-week ceasefire with US. Earlier, President Trump had said that he's suspending bombing of Iran for 2 weeks. The condition is that Iran completely reopens the Strait of Hormuz. Before Khamenei's statement came, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi had even confirmed that Iran will halt attacks and that if attacks against it stop, he even went on to say that safe transit in Strait of Hormuz will be possible for 2 weeks by coordination with Iranian forces. So that's the latest coming in, the statement that's coming in from Mujtaba Khamenei. This is regarding the instruction that the Supreme Leader has given, announcing via statement readout on state-run news channel, and that is instructing all the military units to stop firing, which follows the ceasefire announcement by President Trump, after which we even heard that statement from Abbas Araghchi, who put out a statement saying that the Strait of Hormuz will be opening, and all of this while back-channel talks have been happening, and starting Friday, there will be talks that will be initiated on part of Pakistan between US and the Iranian side. So Iran having agreed to a 2-week ceasefire with the US. Earlier, President Trump had said that he's suspending bombing of Iran for 2 weeks. All of this coming after that 48-hour deadline. In fact, just 2 hours, precisely 2 hours before the deadline was to end, the statement came in from President Trump announcing that a ceasefire will be in place, and this while Strait of Hormuz will be opening. In fact, President Trump even announcing regarding the ceasefire talks, in fact, the talks that will be taking place between the two sides. Starting Friday, Pakistan that will be mediating the talks between between Iranian side and the US. And joining us on the broadcast is Peter Kuznick. He's joining us live from Washington. He's a professor of history and director of Nuclear Studies Institute at American University. Mr. Kuznick, appreciate you joining us on the broadcast. First up, your assessment regarding the ceasefire that's now in place and the Strait of Hormuz opening, essentially paving the way for economic burden that was being seen to be offset.
I'd say this is a stunning and positive development. The world can breathe a collective sigh of relief. Trump's threats were terrifying, but it looks like the United States has accepted. Trump says that Iran's 10-point plan is a viable starting point, which is astounding in the sense that the United States has not achieved any of its objectives, even though the objectives keep on changing with all the different ones that the U.S. has thrown out there. The only thing that the U.S. and Israel can say they've achieved is destroying a lot of Iranian infrastructure, killing some Iranian leaders, and killing a lot of Iranian civilians. But this proposal extends beyond Iran. It includes the Palestinian people in Gaza. It includes Hezbollah in Lebanon. And the U.S. and Israel are supposed to stop on all these fronts. So for Iran, this seems to be, we don't know a lot of the details yet, or we don't know all the details, but it seems to be a one-sided victory for Iran and a humiliating defeat for the United States, and pretty much a defeat for Israel as well.
Yes, and needless to say, Trump has been facing tremendous pressure all these days and weeks. As we speak, we have a statement coming in from the White House that says Israel has also agreed to Iran's ceasefire. In fact, In fact, Iraq also issuing a statement saying that it welcomes US-Iran ceasefire, calling for sustainable dialogue going forward. But talk to us about the kind of statement we've been hearing from President Trump over these days, specifically his statement regarding targeting of civilizational sites in Iran. Hypothetically, if one were to assume that US did go ahead and attacked those civilian infrastructures, do you think that would tantamount to war crimes on part of the US?
This is absolutely, unmistakably war crimes that Trump has been threatening, but Israel has been carrying them out. You know, we saw that Trump's threatening to destroy Iran's infrastructure starting tonight, but Israel was bombing Iran's infrastructure during the day today, bragging about destroying the bridges, destroying roads. These are war crimes also. And I hope that whoever commits war crimes will be held accountable for those war crimes so that people in the future learn they can't do this kind of thing with impunity. I think Trump hopefully has learned some lessons after kidnapping the Maduros in Venezuela, threatening Greenland, threatening NATO, threatening Canada and Colombia and Panama, this unhinged behavior. But we see, that's why I've been very worried, because Trump is so emotionally unstable and cognitively impaired, and he's making these unhinged threats. On Sunday, he was talking about ordering the Iranians to open the effing Strait of Hormuz. You crazy bastards, he called them. And then today he's talking about destroying Iranian civilization. How do you destroy a civilization in 4 hours without using nuclear weapons?
Yes.
That's what we were terrified.
Yes, and all these days Trump has been maintaining that the war is going to continue, and this while Iran has said that, categorically said that it wants a permanent end, to the war. Trump's statement now also mentions that there could be a permanent resolution. In your thoughts, what do you think was the tipping point for President Trump to come to a point and say that yes, there is going to be a permanent solution going forward?
I think it was domestic pressure in the United States. What we're seeing is his solid Republican support starting to crumble, showing signs of it at least. And we see the Democrats getting more and more of a backbone. I've heard more Democrats today agree with me that we have to start acting on the 25th Amendment and that U.S. military has got to disobey illegal and immoral orders. And I know there's a discussion going on in the military about what they're going to do. I know that military leaders were under pressure to not follow through on Trump's threats. And I know that there are more and more people in the United States saying that Donald Trump needs to be removed from office. So if anything, Trump might have not achieved regime change in Tehran, but he might achieve regime change in Washington. And I think that, I'd like to see both the Trump and the Netanyahu regimes ousted, because they pose too much of a threat to humanity at a time when we can't tolerate this. We see the impact on the world energy supply and food supplies and just the overall economy tottering right now. And if this had gone on much longer, we would have not only seen a global recession, we could have seen a global depression.